Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live Storytime. My name is Miss Mary, and I am here to share some wonderful stories with you today. I have some really beautifully illustrated stories to share. As always, when you arrive, please say hello in the comments so that I can give you a shout out. I like to wait just a little bit to see if anybody is going to arrive. Hopefully you are staying cool if you are local. It is very hot and humid here on Long Island today. I believe it's in the mid 80s today, but it feels like the mid 90s because of the heat index. So hopefully you're staying cool and safe and maybe tuning in to Storytime to avoid the heat. Again, if you are here, please say hello in the comments so I can give you a shout out. Just a couple of quick reminders about shout outs that there is a bit of a delay with you writing your comment and me seeing it. There is a bit of a delay. So if I don't say anything right away, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's just because I haven't seen your comment yet. And also, if I get a comment while I'm in the middle of a story, I just wait until the end of the story before I reply, just so that it doesn't interrupt the flow. So there's no real theme today with Storytime. I have been having a lot of fun browsing the new book section, both here and at my home library. And I've found some really beautiful books just from the new bookshelf. So I am going to share them with you today. I have more than I know I'm going to be able to read, but let's see what we get to. All right, again, please say hello in the comments and I will give you a shout out. For now, let's start with our first new book. This is called I Am a Kindness Hero by Jennifer Adams. And I think that is a beautiful way to put it, right? To be a kindness hero. I think we can all be kindness heroes. Here we go. I am a kindness hero. I am a defender of animals. A protector of insects. And a guardian of the earth. Heroes are kind to strangers and to friends. I am helpful. I am patient. I am powerful. I am loving. I fight for kindness when I stand up for others. I battle my jealousy when I high-five the winner. It's tough to do, right? I help others conquer sadness by knowing how to listen. When I use the power of my kindness, the animals and the insects and the earth and all of the people I meet will know they are loved. And the world will be a better, happier place. And if I fight for kindness, then maybe others will too. It all starts with someone, right? We win the battle for kindness one small act at a time. And that is I Am a Kindness Hero. So that was lovely and simple and just a good reminder that there's so many ways to be a kindness hero. It doesn't have to be big, sweeping, grand gestures. It can just be, being kind or being nice to an animal or listening to a friend if they're sad or if they have something good to share. I just think it's so easy to be kind. And then maybe it will inspire other people to be kind too. Okay, this next story, I just thought, again, beautiful illustrations and beautiful stories this week. This is called What We'll Build, Plans for Our Together Future by Oliver Jeffers. What shall we build, you and I? Let's gather all our tools for a start. Okay, all the tools. Let's find out what we're going to build. For putting together and taking apart. Sometimes that happens. We make a mistake when we're building something. Let's build a door where there was none. We'll build a house to be our home. I'll build your future and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside and build a hole where we can hide. A fortress to keep our enemies out and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose and you don't always win, so we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a table to drink our tea and say, I'm sorry. Me too. Me three. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. How beautiful is that page? Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road up to the moon. Let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things we love the most. We'll put these favorite things beside the earlier love we set aside. I think that we may want them later, when times are hard and needs are greater. But first, things first, let's build a fire, for we've planned a lot, and now we're tired. It'll keep us warm, like when we're born. Then we'll say goodnight, as all's all right. These are the things we'll build, you and I. And I just loved that story of a father and his daughter and what they'll build together. Okay, let's see. Again, if you are tuning in, please say hello in the comments so I can give you a shout out. And I do have a couple of quick announcements after I'm done with the stories today, just so that you know some things that are going on at the library. So let's get into our third story. This is called Grow by Joanne Early Mackin. If you were an acorn, you'd swing from a stout twig, snug inside a hard brown shell, bristled cap on your head. One day, you'd drop to the leafy floor. Slowly, you'd crack your jacket. Then, bit by bit, year after year, you would stretch your roots into soil and trunk and limbs into sky. You'd be an oak tree reaching lobed leaves towards sunlight. If you were a caterpillar, you'd inch over milkweed, munching, stripes blending in with shadows and stems, shedding your skin when it grew too tight. You'd button yourself to a leaf, molt one last time, and wriggle into a blue-green chrysalis. After a while, you'd pop out, unfold orange wings, and flutter from flower to flower. You'd be a monarch butterfly, sipping sweet nectar from wind-blown blooms. If you were a tadpole, you'd swish and dart in a mossy pond, breathe murky water through gills and slick skin, nibble on green water weeds. Gradually, you'd grow legs back and front. They'd lengthen and strengthen. Your tail would shrink. One day, breathing air into lungs, you'll crawl onto land, hop after prey, and snatch it with your long, sticky tongue. You'd be a leopard frog, leaping through rustling reeds. If you were a hatchling, you'd climb up through soft, sandy soil, scurry past long-legged, wading birds, and burrow into a muddy streamland. Your shell would protect your head, legs and tail growing larger each year, shedding old scoots as new ones formed underneath. On warm days, you'd bask on a sunlit log. You'd be a painted turtle, plopping into a rippling pond. If you were a duckling, you'd waddle to the water, following your mother and sisters and brothers, all downy fluff, flapping and peeping and pecking. Over the summer, you'd trade down for feathers. You'd forage in foliage, dabble upended, learn how to fly, and flap to the sky. Come fall, you'd join a flock winging south. You'd be a mallard duck, migrating over cities and farms. If you were a fawn, you'd rest among ferns and soft grasses, hidden in dappled sunlight, speckled and shy, waiting. You'd stand on spindly legs. First, you'd wobble. Later, lankier, you'd sprint, then spring. You'd wander on trails through forest and field, leaving heart-shaped tracks as you browsed. You'd be a white-tailed deer, bounding along roadsides and riverbanks. When you were a baby, snug in a blanket, you gazed at the world, bright eyes open wide, holding on to a finger with your whole tiny hand. You babbled and cooed, you listened and learned. Now look at you. Look at all you can do. Splash in the shallows like turtles and ducks. Search for an acorn, a tadpole, a butterfly. Leave your dear footprints wherever you go. You're the only true you. Unlike any other in this whole dazzling world, you're finding your own way to grow. That is grow. Okay, You know what? Let me make a couple of quick announcements now before my next story. I just wanted to let you all know that the Summer Reading Club has begun at the Patchogue-Medford Library. We are so excited. We have seen so many people this week that, people we haven't seen in a very long time because of COVID and because, people just weren't feeling safe yet or comfortable yet. And now that things are really opening up and the library is doing the summer reading club and doing some in-person outdoor programs, things like that, people are finally coming back in, and it is just so, so good to see everyone. So I just wanted to remind you of that, of the 3 children's summer reading clubs we have. We have Barnyard Buddies for children ages birth through pre-K. We have Pawty Animals for children who are going into kindergarten through 2nd grade. And we have Pet Squad for children who are going into 3rd through 6th grade. And please come on down to the library to visit us. We can't wait to see you. Also, a quick reminder that we are doing the free summer lunch program again, and it began this Monday, and it continues throughout the summer on weekdays, so Mondays through Fridays, except for next Monday. We are closed on the 5th because of, in observance of the 4th of July. But Mondays through Fridays from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we will be offering a grab-and-go breakfast and lunch service through the back of the library. So please, please take part in that. We have one of my wonderful coworkers, Paulette, is in charge of that program, and she does an amazing job with it every year. I just wanted to give her a shout out for that. So please, please, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1, with the exception of the 5th, July 5th, is the free summer lunch program. So please take advantage of that. That is for children who are ages 18 and under. We'd love to serve you. Okay, so this next story, I just felt like I related to it. We all have worries, and some of us have anxiety, and we get scared and things that make us nervous. So this is called My Monster in Me, a reassuring story about sharing worries, and it's by Nadia Hussein. This is my monster, and this is me. I've always known my monster. It's always been there. It knows all about me. Maybe my monster arrived when I did. Maybe it moved in when I learned to walk and talk. I don't remember. It was always big. When it stood in front of me, I could see nothing but its large tummy. At night when I lay in bed, I could hear nothing but its ginormous growly snore. I wanted Mom to take it away, but when Mom was there, my monster hid. I wished my brother could take it away, but my monster hid again. I wanted Dad to take it away, but it hid from him too. My monster got bossier. It started telling me what to do when I was getting dressed and brushing my teeth. When I wanted to play with my toys, it sat on me. It even made me stay indoors when my friends came to play. I wanted to go out and join them, but my monster stood in the way and wouldn't budge. One day, my monster was waiting for me after school. It was gigantic, and it was in a bad mood. I tried to lose it, but I couldn't. And suddenly, whoops, sorry. It followed me all the way to Gran's house. Gran asked me what was wrong. In the end, I told her how my monster just wouldn't go away. It wouldn't leave me alone. Ever. Gran listened quietly. And suddenly my monster stopped what it was doing and listened too. It seemed to me that as I talked, my monster got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I knew that I could make my monster go away, at least for a while. The next day, I saw my monster at school. It looked a bit lost, so I picked it up and put it in my pocket. I stroked its fur and it went to sleep. It wasn't as scary anymore. I don't worry about my monster as much these days. I go to school and play with my friends. My monster likes my pocket and I feel okay knowing it's there. But if it ever feels like getting out, I tell it to behave. My monster is part of me. We've known each other from the beginning. This is me. And this is my monster. Okay, so at the beginning of the story, the monster was so big, right? That little boy's monster. But then by the end of the story, he learned ways to make that monster feel smaller. And so it was small enough to fit right in his pocket. So that is a good ending. Okay, and I like that story because it reminds me and everyone that it's good to talk about our feelings with a grown-up or a good friend, and maybe just talking about it will help us feel better, right? And make the monster a little bit smaller. Okay, my last story of the day is so beautiful. Of course, they say not to judge a book by its cover, but when it's a picture book especially, the cover is the first thing you notice. This cover is so beautiful. The title is beautiful. And then when I read it, I just knew this was going to be the last story I read for the day. And I knew that it was very special. I showed it to a bunch of my coworkers today, and they were all misty-eyed even about it, just thought it was so beautiful. So here we go. My last story of the day. This is Rain Before Rainbows, and I pray that I am pronouncing this author's name correctly. I tried to find out how to pronounce it, and I couldn't, so I'm going to do my best guess. The author is Smriti Prasadam Halls, and I apologize in advance if I did not say her name correctly. Rain before rainbows, clouds before sun, night before daybreak, the old day is done. See how beautiful? They only get prettier. There are mountains for climbing, journeys to take. Oh, it's beautiful. Dreams that are hopeful, decisions to make. How beautiful. Look at that page. Oh. Dark days may shake us and worries creep in, with dragons to duel and battles to win. That's true. There's always dark days, right? But remember, rain before rainbows, right? Thunder will rumble, lightning will flash, the wind will start blowing, and tall waves will crash. But there are footsteps to follow and words that are wise. There's a map that will guide us when troubles arise. There are friends who will help us, courageous and kind, a rope to hold on to, and treasure to find. Sowing and planting, roots before shoot, stem before flower, leaf before root, before fruit. Rain before rainbows, clouds before sun, night before daybreak, a new day's begun. A day full of promise, a day full of light. The morning is breaking. Look at that gorgeous illustration. And the morning is bright. And that is Rain Before Rainbows. I just think that's such a beautiful, beautiful story. And there's so many ways to interpret that. The literal way of, just sometimes you need, in order to get to see a beautiful rainbow, usually it needs to rain first. So it needs to be dark and cloudy and rainy, but then when the rain ends, you get to see this beautiful rainbow appear. But that also happens, like sometimes we're having a bad day or something sad happens, and so that can be like rain. But then something good happens and something joyful happens, and there's your rainbow, right? So I just thought, what a beautifully illustrated book. I actually think I might want to buy that for myself, for my own personal collection. Just gorgeously illustrated. And again, I hope I pronounced the author's name correctly. I do my best to research and make sure I am saying things correctly, but I could not find it. Anyway, that is my story time for this week. I hope you enjoyed all of the beautiful stories and illustrations that I shared with you, and that you're staying cool and safe from the heat. And, I will be back next week with more stories to share, and I hope you come and visit us all at the library. We can't wait to see you. Bye, everyone.